Welcome to the main Slate Mashup show, hosted by Season Long DFS. I am Jamie, and I'm joined, as ever, by Rich and Liam this week. I think we have all three of us last week as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
I think we did. Yeah.
It was the week before. It was only two of us. How are you boys? Anyway, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just busy as usual, doing stuff outside of NFL Insider. So yeah.
And you, Rich?
Busy as ever, mate. Standard, work, getting me to do work during the working
Jesus.
hours.
Seriously, that's well out of order.
Unbelievable. Because I enjoy quite traumatizing events as well. I thought I'd take the youngest for another COVID test this week.
Lovely.
So that was beauty as well. So just absolutely smashing life, to be fair.
Did you
absolutely smashing it?
Did you manage to do? Did you just do the nose, or did you?
It's just the nose, but it's still pretty horrific because she's only just turned 1.
Yeah.
I basically have to just squeeze her so she cannot move.
Yeah.
It's absolutely awful.
We had to do one for Isabel, and they said we still had to do the throat thing to start with, and then obviously we flashed the hazard lights and said we literally can't do this. It's not working. Yeah. Oh, you can just do the nose only if you want. Well,
cool.
Why didn't you just tell me that beforehand?
Yeah.
You bellends. Negative result, or are you still waiting?
I got a negative result, so that's all good.
Happy days.
Happy days.
I'm going back to licking windows and stuff now, so that's fine.
Oh, perfect. It's like your favourite hobby, isn't it?
It is. Some of them are quite tasty. So.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Find out. It's not like we're in a global pandemic. So
I might just leave that to you, mate. Might just leave that to you. If that's your kind of thing, whatever floats your boat, it's fine by me. Shall we get on to to this Sunday's main slate?
Yeah, let's dig into it.
Let's go. Let's go straight into high price QBs. Liam, hit me with high price QBs you like this week.
Yeah, I initially came into the week not really liking anyone, but one guy that came out. Yeah, good start, admittedly, but one guy that did sort of grow on me was Justin Herbert. I think out of the premium guys this week, he is probably the best value. He's since he's come in, he's averaging, I think he says 26.7 points per game, which is obviously a ridiculous amount really for a rookie. I believe he's the only person to match him in terms of starts as a rookie is like Dan Marino, which is obviously Dan Marino is the GOAT. So, and he's taken on Buffalo defense, who are giving up 22.8 DK points per game to the QB position, which is bottom 5 in the league. And, if you're looking for a nice little stack option, which most of us are, especially in tournaments, it's got Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry with him. So, that gives you a nice little option there to, potentially get it different in tournaments. So, I like Justin Herbert a lot this week and doesn't really miss, to be honest. So, kind of hard not to like him.
Especially in a shootout.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially in a shootout. Rich, where are you heading?
Well, I really liked Herbert from the start. Just to quickly add to that, what Liam was saying, he's averaging pretty much what you need to get the passing yards bonus on DraftKings, which is absolutely perfect, really, for what you want. But if I was looking at another expensive option, I'd probably stay in the same game and go Josh Allen. Chargers can be beaten through the air. They've given up 21.6 DraftKings points on average, which is towards the top of the league. Josh Allen seems to have almost reinvented himself a little bit this season. He's a lot more accurate than he's been in previous seasons.
Yes,
but he's still, but he's still maintaining that like rushing floor as well. So, he's a decent option as well if you want to spend up.
Yeah, I did like Josh Allen this week. He was definitely a thought. Herbert was also. I kind of prefer Josh Allen over Herbert I think you're not going to go wrong with either. I'll go just the plain, pretty obvious Kyler Murray for me. It's
I thought that it's just like I don't feel like I can do it.
He's pricey.
Yeah,
he is pricey.
I don't feel like there's a massive difference between Herbert, Allen, and Murray, and that's why I kind of like Herbert more because he's the cheapest of them. Like I'm saving $1,000.
Yeah, I kind of look at it that obviously this is going to be weather dependent on what the weather's going to be like in New England. I just think New England's defense is worse than Buffalo's and worse than the Chargers at the moment. I really do. I think it's horrible. With Murray, you're hoping you're not going to see another 15-yard rushing like he had against Seattle, but his rushing upside is going to be, let's say he gets 70 yards and a touchdown. So you got 13-point head start already. And then 250. I think this could be, the price is kind of, obviously it's the most expensive on the slate. But you can stack him with a Christian Kirk, who is kind of a slightly cheaper version of Nuke Hopkins, who could go off as well. So yeah, I quite like Kyler Murray this week, even at 8,200 against a bad Pats D. Let's go on to running backs. Rich starts off with a running back or two.
Okay, well, I'm not going to mention the one that you and Liam are most likely to mention. So I'll go Nick Chubb.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, he's one of my two.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I can name the other one, but maybe we'll just talk about Nick Chubb to start with. So
yeah.
Going up against Jacksonville, who have struggled against running backs all season.
Unless your name's Aaron Jones.
Well, that was more.
That was weird.
Decided to not do it. It was weird. But they're giving him the ball. Like he immediately stepped back in and 19 carries, 20 carries. Like they're clearly not worried about his knee holding him back at all.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty decent matchup. He's got a couple of opportunities to score touchdowns too with goal line work and the like.
He's also only gone up 300 in the last 2 weeks after going for 126. Silly.
I guess it's because Hunt is still being used quite a lot as well. So they're not going like full salary increase. But I mean, what I'll do is I'll just name the other one that you guys probably like, and then you can talk about it. Dalvin Cook, 9,500. Discuss.
Yeah, Liam, go for it.
So initially it was a tough choice between Cook and CMC for me, but obviously with CMC being doubtful, it is really Cook now. Obviously, he's seeing an incredible amount of touches, 34 in week 10, 32 in week 11, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, 32 in week 11.
Yeah. Either way, it's a pretty ridiculous amount. And yes, you're paying up for him. He's most expensive player on the slate, I believe, at 9.5. But he's taken on Carolina, who are a pretty poor defense against the run. They have been since week 1. They're bottom 5 defense in terms of points allowed at 27.8. And it's Dalvin Cook. Just play him. It's pretty simple.
He's salvaged my SLD teams for the last 4 weeks. Let's put it that way. And I think if you're looking at the value, what was he, 9.5 at say 2.5 times the value is kind of where you want to get a base at. He's 24 points. He should smash it. He's got 51 and 42 in 8 and 9 against 2 bad run defenses, and he comes up against Carolina, who are better than Detroit's and Green Bay's, but they're still hideous. And the Vikings are a running team, and he's seen targets as well, which is nice to see. That price is quite scary though, at 9.5. I'm just trying to think, because obviously you've just mentioned, Rich, the two that I quite liked, which were Cook and Nick Chubb. Is there anyone else, Liam, apart from Cook and Chubb, that you like this week? Kind of high priced.
I mean, if we're talking above 6K, then I don't mind James Robinson at home to Cleveland and going back into that game. He's seeing an incredible amount of touches for the type of offense they're in. And I think it's Mike Lennon started at QB, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah,
if I'm
he is
right
starting
or
at QB.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't see them throwing it too much of him at QB, to be completely frank. So, yeah, I think James Robinson is a pretty solid lock to get 20-plus touches this week. And Cleveland aren't amazing at defense in general. So, if Myles Garrett is out again, which I believe he is meant to be, then I don't see... I think James Robinson's a nice price to get 3 times value if you're looking for that type of player.
Yeah. For me, it was only really Cook and Chubb. There's no one that really stood out for me. Even Jacobs going up against the Falcons, he's about 7,200. Falcons are good against a run. He's not seeing huge amounts of targets. One last week, 4 the week before, 1. At that price, I'm happy to just kind of stay away. Let's go running backs. Liam, hit us up with running back. Wide receiver.
Yeah, so if Julio Jones is active, I actually quite like Calvin Ridley this week at 7.1k.
Yeah.
Just because Matt Ryan typically has a negative correlation when there's no Julio in terms of his passing game. So I keep an eye on Julio Jones's sort of situation, as he's a game time decision, I believe, at the moment in terms of playing.
He's not going to play. I don't think he'll play.
Is he not going to play?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I just, if he's got this niggling injury, hamstring injury, the last thing you want to be doing is just risking him. I know there's nothing left for the season really for us in reality, but I don't see the point in chancing it. I'd rather just let him rest for a bit, personally.
Okay. Well, also if he does play, then he's going to get Trayvon Mullen coverage, who, to be honest, is a bit of a roller coaster of a player. He's had brilliant games against wide receiver ones, and then given up 100-plus games to Tim Patrick and Demarcus Robinson. So you really are getting a boom or bust play with Ridley. And I feel like if Julio does play, which of course keep an eye on the situation, but if he does play, then I feel Ridley's going to have that boom where he can probably get 20-plus points and be that wide receiver 1 for your lineups.
I've got Ridley down on one of the wide receivers that I like, and that was thinking that Julio is out.
Okay, interesting.
So we're kind of thinking different here. I think I've said all along, I don't think this Vegas defense is good. I really don't. Calvin Ridley is just a stupidly good route runner, and he can find space everywhere. I'm not saying he would go off, but I think you've got a good shot at over 3 times value, even without Julio on the field, because he's going to Hurst, Gage saw an uptick in targets this past week when Julio went off. I think he was at 12 targets. You got Powell, Zacchaeus. Blake, Zacchaeus, Ridley's. I think with or without Julio should have a good game. That's kind of where I'm at. Rich, have you got any thoughts on Ridley? Do you kind of lean one way or the other?
I don't really know, but I don't really like the Falcons this week because they hurt me last week, and I don't really want to talk about it.
It's the best time to play him, Rich. It's the Mike Davis theory from last week.
Yeah, it was just like there's more. Matt Ryan absolutely stunk bed up for me in quite a few leagues. So,
mate, join the club. As I said, I've got 60% ownership in Matt Ryan across all my dynasty leagues, and he played in every single one of them.
Oh, all right. Just because I'm hurt doesn't just because you're hurt doesn't mean I can't be, Jamie. Okay, we've all got feelings. Let's just move on.
Okay, let's move on to your wide receiver, Rich.
It's Keenan Allen.
Shock.
How can it not be? How can it not? I mean, just look at that target column.
He doesn't see enough targets.
He doesn't see enough because some of the passes go to Mike Evans.
19 targets last week, 7 the week before, 11 the week before that, and 12 the week before that. So he's a lot of targets.
He's actually getting into the end zone as well, which is
nice.
Which is something, it's a bit strange. But yeah, I mean, you just with the way that scoring is on DK, there's no way. I don't think there's any way you can talk me out of having him in my lineup at the moment. This matchup as well. We spoke about it when we were talking about Herbert. It's a great matchup for wide receivers.
Yeah,
Buffalo can definitely be got through the air. So
Totally agree. And him at 8,000 in a shootout is lovely.
Yeah.
Ridley and Allen are on my list. My other guy is Michael Thomas. I still don't think his price at 7,400 is right. This is still cheap for Michael Thomas. Last week, it was basically just as if Drew Brees was playing. 12 targets, 9 receptions, 104 yards. Falcons are bad. Denver, they played better last week, Denver, the defense against the Dolphins. But I think another week for Taysom Hill to maybe get more practice and just literally throwing Michael Thomas the ball. And you might see 15, 16 targets this week. But yeah, I think the price of 7,400 is still a little bit low for Thomas. If he's in it, kind of peak Michael Thomas, if you can get him at 7,400, you're laughing. He's not peak, but he's easing himself back in. And 12 targets last week was 5 more than the week before. So yeah, I quite like that. Thoughts?
Yeah,
I'm just kind of worried about. I'm worried about Taysom Hill. That's the only issue I have.
Taysom Hill is not a good quarterback, but even he can throw 5-yard slants.
Yeah, that's the thing. Which should be, whether that'll happen. Like that's the thing. That's the concern I have is around how Taysom Hill will play. But from what we saw, it does seem as though Michael Thomas is quite rightly the guy that he's trying to give the ball to. So, sorry, Liam, I cut across you.
No, it's all right. You pitched pretty much what I was going to say. It's a one-week sample, isn't it? But all we can go off is that he targeted Thomas and he ran in the end zone. So that's literally all we can go off. So until we see different, then that's it, really.
Well, look, I'm not Hill's biggest fan at all. I think he's not a good quarterback. I really don't. It was against the Falcons last week. The Falcons defense is trash. Everyone knows that. He played all right. Great, but he's still got 0 passing touchdowns in his whole career. Mosanu has still got more than him. It was a good performance. His deep ball is not very good, but I did say that in general fantasy, you can start Taysom Hill over Lamar Jackson until Drew Brees comes back, and I stand by that. I still think you can. He's got more upside than Lamar Jackson in the next couple of weeks. He's got Denver, and then he's got the Falcons again. But yeah, less of Taysom Hill. Screw the Saints. Is there anyone else in the high-priced wide receivers that you boys like? Or shall we move on to tight ends?
Yeah, let's move on.
You said tight ends as plural. I feel like it's one. I feel like there's only one.
Okay, all right. Okay,
interesting.
On three, we all say the name of the main tight end we like. You ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Darren Waller.
Darren Waller.
Pretty simple. He's 6,000. He's the second most expensive behind Kelsey. He's going up against the Falcons. He's playing really well. I think that's pretty much all you need to say, really. Anyone else?
Yeah. Atlanta give it the most points to the tight end position, 16.8 per game. And Waller's based the wide receiver one. He's not been a tight end, in my opinion, anymore. Thank you very much. I'll pay the premium on him.
Exactly. Liam, it sounded like you might have had another tight end that you quite liked.
I do like Hunter Henry. Just if I'm stacking him with Herbert, I do like him a lot. Annoyingly, he got his sort of a touchdown last weekend instead of powering, which annoyed me a little bit. But whilst he's getting the targets he is getting and he's getting in the end zone, he obviously offers that nice sort of multiplier you're getting. And he's going against a poor Buffalo defense, as you mentioned, that can be targeted in the air.
Just a question about Hunter Henry. Is Hunter Henry touchdown dependent? You take out the touchdowns, what's he getting? 8 points, 7 points, 7 points, 7 points, 5 points.
Yeah. I think out of Kelsey and Waller, every other tight end is touchdown dependent.
Yeah.
You maybe got a point in saying that, if you're paying up for Henry, why don't you just pay up for Waller? And I'll agree with that. But in terms of stacking in tournaments, I'd say Henry's a decent look at least.
Yeah, I can see where if you want to stack with Herbert, then Henry would be kind of top of that list for me. I just think if I'm not playing Herbert, Henry at 4,800, or maybe going down to, I don't know, just quickly looking down, like I don't know, someone like a Trey Burton who isn't seeing the amount of targets, but he can be used in different ways and can get the same amount of points. He can be used on the goal line, things like that. So it's something to think about. If you're stacking with Herbert, then yeah, I love it. If I'm not playing Herbert, I'm probably not going to pay that. I'd rather pay up for Waller. Defenses, Rich.
Miami.
Yeah.
Jets. It doesn't even matter who it is. It's just Jets.
Yeah.
Like, if you're facing up against Joe Flacco, like the Miami Dolphins defense is good.
Darnold's back in practice. Okay. And it doesn't make a lot of difference.
So then we have either Flacco or we have Darnold with a dodgy shoulder. Like, I'm not bothered between the two. And Miami Dolphins defense is solid as well. Like that. It's not just the fact it's the Jets. It's also Miami are good, but it's mainly Jets.
Well, they're the most expensive on the slate with the Steelers. Do you know what? I just realised that obviously now the Steelers are in on this slate, and obviously we've done all of our stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point because we're recording on Wednesday night when the announcement was made just about an hour before.
Ago,
an hour before we started recording that this game had moved to the slate. So when we're talking about all of these picks, all of the research was done on the assumption that Pittsburgh weren't on the slate.
Exactly, but what we'll do is if when we get to the certain wide receiver, running back, whatever, and there's a Steelers or a Ravens, we'll just chuck them in if we like them. How do we say? How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I quite like the Steelers' defense against the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson just seems to crumble under pressure there. And I think one of the biggest things as well is, I think I might have said it previously on here, if not, it was the Kickers Matter podcast, but losing Marshall Yander in the offseason had a massive impact on how that line goes. Like, ridiculous. And now they've lost more offensive line pieces as well. It's just not really what you want if you're Lamar Jackson.
No, but no. If I'm looking at this, the Steelers are the same price as the Jets, which they are 4,200 as the Dolphins. Who do you prefer?
I prefer the Dolphins.
Yeah, just about.
Like the reason being that there's a range of the range of outcomes in Baltimore and Pitt and the Steelers. I think the Steelers' defense will get the better of the Ravens. Whether that translates into fantasy points, I'm not sure. I know you're about to flick up. Yeah,
4 sacks,
happened last
2 interceptions, 18 points at Baltimore. Yeah,
I'm gonna throw out the fact it's like at Baltimore, at Steelers. Like, there's no fans. It makes not a lot of difference to me. I don't think when I'm looking at how these teams play. The range of outcomes with how the Ravens are going to play is wider than how I think the Jets are going to play. Like, the Jets are just going to suck. That's the only way I can see it going. Whereas the Ravens, there is a possibility that they perform well and are able to get some periods of dominance over this defense.
Here's a question for you: who crumbles under pressure, Joe Flacco or Lamar Jackson?
Well, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson.
He's going to crumble. Do you see what I'm just trying to give a balanced option.
Equally, I had this discussion with someone who asked me some questions on start sits on the weekend, who said, who's more consistent? I need a consistent quarterback, Joe Flacco or Andy Dalton, I think. And I said, go with Andy Dalton because Joe Flacco is consistent, but consistently getting like 8 points is not doing you any favours. So, like, you're saying who crumbles more? Well, we've seen that Lamar Jackson can score quite a few points and he can also score nothing. Joe Flacco consistently scores nothing that's going to help you.
How many did Flacco score last week? I'm just interested.
I think he popped off a little bit.
Quite a few touchdowns, didn't they, Jets?
He still can throw a nice deep ball.
That was the plan, wasn't it? Like Perriman just
15 points. He scored 15.4 last week, and the week before that he scored 21.
Yeah,
so he's played better. Garbage time does still count though.
Yeah, I know it does, but
I can't believe I'm trying to stick up for Joe Flacco. Yeah. I genuinely I genuinely dislike him, but yeah, no. I think going back to the defense, I think for me, I'm probably just edging the Steelers over the Dolphins at that price. I think if this were, do you think if the Steelers weren't just moved into this, that they would be more expensive than the Dolphins? I'm surprised that they're the same price.
I reckon they'd probably be that.
What were they against? Oh, they were 3,600. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's where they would be priced regardless.
Any more defenses, lads?
If your class was premium, I quite like the Browns. Obviously liked them last week, got 20 points, happy days. Like him again.
Yeah,
Karen Jim. I like him again against Mike Lennon and Jacksonville. I mean, they're just straight turnovers. I mean, even without Myles Garrett, I think it was Olivia Vernon got 3 sacks or 4 sacks. So,
have you heard the? I'm not sure if you saw it, but like the replacement quarterback train.
I haven't, no.
So Mike Glennon was replaced by Mitch Trubisky, who was replaced by Nick Foles, who was replaced by Gardner Minshew, who was replaced by Jake Luton, who was replaced by Mike Glennon.
Nice.
All the way down. Yeah. Circle.
So likely to get a lot of sacks this weekend. And get a nice return on the 3.1k price they're at. So Cleveland for me.
I like the Browns. I class the Browns as a value, my kind of value kind of defense. But a 3-1, it can go either way. The way the Saints played against the Falcons and their O-line, their D-line last week, 8 sacks. It's Drew fucking Lock. Drew Lock is absolute garbage. And if Marshall Lattimore's back, then I think that the Saints are going to be all right. 16, 14 and 16 points the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Saints written down as well. I mean, let's not forget that Drew Lock's inaccuracy was for all to see at the end of that game when he tried to throw the ball out downfield and completed a pass. There wasn't even like a touchline grab. Like, Tim Patrick was able to haul it in and then run. Like, it wasn't...
Drew Lock has 7 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. The boy's garbage. John Elway can't see what a good QB is if it smacked him in the face. And Drew Lock probably couldn't throw a ball in his face from a yard away.
That's not fair. I mean, he was pretty good at identifying that Peyton Manning would be.
Oh, come on. You know exactly what I mean. In fact, they had Chad Kelly and then they let him go, so he's a moron.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought of Brock Osweiler wasn't the answer?
I know, mate. It's God knows. Let's get on to our kind of mid to low value plays. Quarterbacks. Liam.
As usual, Derek Carr.
God damn it.
It's just every week, they don't price him up because he doesn't get these 30, 40 plus point games.
But that price, you don't need him to.
Exactly. You need him to get, 23 points, if that.
I'm happy if I get 19 from Derek Carr.
Exactly.
5-7.
And, we kind of mentioned Atlanta being a bad defense. They give it the most DK points to the QB position as well as the tight end position. It's just too nice a matchup not to play Derek Carr, in my opinion, and he'll be in a lot of my lineups this weekend for sure.
Derek Carr is playing better football than he was when he was in the MVP race before he had his knee injury. He's playing so well at the moment. At 5,700. It's against the Falcons. For God's sake, what's his prices have been? Has he actually gone down? No, he's 5'5", 5'7", 5'3", and he was 5'3" last week against Kansas City. Now he's 5'7". I think 5'7" is too cheap again.
Yeah, it is too cheap.
Rich, where you at?
I had Derek Carr as one. Other guy I like is Philip Rivers.
Yep.
I don't really know what this offense is doing because it seems like it wants to establish the run, but then it just has kind of recently given the ball to Rivers to throw. So I'm not really too sure what to make of it. But last time he faced Tennessee, you can see it on screen if you're watching on YouTube. He threw for 308 yards and 1 touchdown, 19 points. I don't really see a reason why he can't do that again. This Tennessee defense is still kind of the same personnel. He's not really lost anyone through injury. So that's it for me.
Yeah.
No, Philip Rivers are quite nice to say. What is 61? So he's gone up 500, 6,100. I like that. I'm going back to the well. Matt Ryan. It's still it's kind of painful. It really is. But his price is 5,900.
No, I know what you're saying. To me,
he's going to throw 40 times. Maybe not. Maybe 35.
To me, he feels like he's going to be a perfect tournament play because there'll be a lot of people like me that are quite hurt by Matt Ryan. You know, he hasn't tweeted me to say sorry or anything like that. We're on rocky ground. There'll be a lot of people that were hurt by him either in their season-long leagues or in DFS, thinking that this game was going to be like a bit of a shootout. Ended up not being at all, and so people will avoid him this week. So if you're playing some of those larger tournaments, I'd try and expose myself to Matt Ryan if I could.
And a stack with Ridley. If you're going with Matt Ryan or Ridley, then you really want to stack both of them. I think, I'll say it for probably a 5th week running, this Las Vegas defense ain't good, and if Matt Ryan gets in a rhythm, he'll carve them to bits. He could quite easily do, if the Falcons, Dirk Cotter does what Dirk Cotter does, he could be 250 yards, 0 touchdowns and 1 interception, or he could do 340 and 3. It's such an up and down. But yeah, it's at a price of 5,900 for me. That's what's drawing me in at home. Liam, you got anyone else, or are you happy to move on to running backs?
Nah, let's move on to running backs. Yeah.
Rich, where are you with running backs?
So I have 2 that I've written down, and then I have 1 which is being transferred over from the.
Yeah, I'll let you say that one. Yeah.
Okay, so. The 2 I've written down right now are Kareem Hunt and Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt is, as I said with Chubb, I quite like the matchup. Jacksonville are not good at defending the running back position. He's still getting involved. Wow. You look at those attempts, even with Chubb back, 19 attempts, 13 attempts.
His price.
Yeah, so low.
Drop down 1,100 in a week.
Yeah, I don't really understand why.
No.
But yeah, so he to me feels like a smash play.
Totally, a total smash play.
I'll continue in talk about Todd Gurley. So last week I was off of him because the Saints' run defense is great. Yep. The Raiders' run defense is not.
It's not.
So it's just matchup dependent. And this is where we are with Todd Gurley at the stage of his career. It's just all about the matchup. Look, he isn't the dynamic player that he once was. We're seeing a little bit of a busted up version of him. So this matchup is good. The price is good. I think because we went through quite a few wide receiver and tight ends that you want to spend money up on. Going Kareem Hunt and Todd Gurley, 2 cheap running backs that I'd feel quite fine with. Yeah. And then you already knew it was going to be. They changed his price, I think, since the thanks.
They have. He was
4,000. He was 4,000.
Yeah, it was 4,000. Yeah, but even so, 5,200. You can't really turn your nose up at it. Mark Ingram's not in this game. J.K. Dobbins is not in this game.
We now get to see.
There you go.
The Gus. I'm a big fan of Gus Edwards, and have been since for a couple of years.
Really? You've not made that very clear every time I speak to you.
He just needs an opportunity. I really think that. Again, okay, it's against Pittsburgh. It's a tough defense, but last time he ran 16 attempts for 87 yards and a touchdown. That's with the three-headed. Well, two of them. That was with him and Dobbins. Dobbins is out of the way. I think you'll see Hill sprinkled in for passing downs, but Gus is going to be the ramming running back. Let's put it that way. 5,200. I much preferred the 4,000 he was priced in the Thanksgiving slate, but 5,200 for the workload which he will get is I quite like. Liam, where are you at?
Yes, so I'm on a guy that's cheaper than all of those guys. Wayne Goldman.
Oh,
5,000s.
Oh, God. I'll just tick off all these ones that I had. Yeah, keep going.
So kind of the same theory as Ahmed last week. He's going to see a lot of touches this week because obviously Cincinnati are playing. Is it Brandon Allen at QB? Who, as far as I'm aware, isn't very good.
He's not. So
New York are going to control the game, even with Daniel Jones at quarterback. And you can see that on the screen if you're watching YouTube that Gallman has seen the touchdown, the end zone, 5 times in the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So the upside's there in terms of touchdowns. And in a week where you're going to need budget plays at running back, I feel that Goldman is probably the best one on the slate for me, alongside Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Goldman was on my short list. Okay, so I had a list knowing that some of these were going to be ones that you boys talked about. So I will just go off the ones that I haven't ticked off after we talked about. I'm unsure on this guy, and I just want to know what you guys think.
Oh, God.
Kalen Ballage, last couple of weeks, 15 attempts in week 9, 18 in week 10, 16 in week 11, and targets last week. He had 9 targets last week, 6 targets the week before. The volume, he's 5,800 against the Bills. It's volume, isn't it? You're paying for volume.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously I'm down with the kids. I believe that Austin Eckler announced on his Twitch stream that he was going to be playing this weekend.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll. Do you really think he'll be seeing a lot of touches?
It was literally words out of his mouth. I am playing this weekend.
Yeah, he might play 4 snaps. He might not. I'm just saying he's come off a fairly bad injury, isn't he? So they're going to ease him back. Do you think?
Hamstring injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, for somebody who runs around, it's quite important.
Yeah, but he's been close to a return for a couple of weeks. I genuinely think if he's going to suit up, then he'll get a decent workload. Genuinely.
If Eckler definitely suits up and has full practices, then I'll lean away from Ballage, because obviously Ballage is the backup. But if there's no Eckler, I think it's the workload for just under 6,000. I don't hate it. Where am I going here? Don't want him. There's 2. Naheem Hines.
I knew you were gonna. I kind of thought you were going to mention Hines.
He's 4,600.
Yeah.
We generally don't really know what the Colts are going to do. Last week it was Naheem Hines is probably going to see more of the workload, and Jonathan Taylor saw most of it. So the last time they played Tennessee was 12 for 70 and a touchdown, 5 receptions for a touchdown as well. At 4,600, half of that you'd be happy.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather. It's taking a punt at 4,600. You just don't know. He's gone 8 points last week, 28 the week before, 5 in 3 weeks ago, 21. So technically, if we're going like this, good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game. Surely.
That's how it works.
But I think 4,600 is. He'll be in a
all of the risk
lineups.
is baked into the price, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is one that the Sexy Rexy injury has helped. 4,500 James White. He miraculously turned into the player we all knew he was, and Bill Belichick remembered that he had him. Rex Burkhead went down with his injury to the ACL during the game. White comes in, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 64 yards. I think it's going to be pretty similar again this week. Price-wise, I think you're not going to play it Naheem Hines and a James White. I think it's one or the other. But the Patriots are going to have to score points against the Cardinals, and Cam's going to have to pass the ball. And he's going to dump off a lot to James White. So, 4,500. I don't mind James White. Wide receivers, Rich, starts with wide receivers.
Finally, I want to talk about a guy that I was massively high on in the off-season when he got selected.
I guess.
You can start typing his name now. Begins with a P.
Donovan Peoples.
No. That's
Pittman.
the guy.
He's my guy as well,
Yeah, I've got him. Yeah.
I was huge on him coming in. I thought, he's big body receiver, exactly what Phillip Rivers wants. His breakout game actually came against Tennessee, where he caught 7 passes for 101 yards. Followed that up against Green Bay. 1 rush as well. Followed that up with an equally impressive performance against Green Bay. So I'm here for it.
He's their wide receiver 1, mate.
He
is. And I'm here for it. I'll talk about it. Spoiler alert. One of my stacks is Rivers and Pittman. But those two, I'm fine with.
Anyone else apart from your love of your life, Michael Pittman Jr.?
I do have Mike Williams, same price,
okay.
5,000. Just there's so much volume in this offense that even with Kareem Hunt getting 58 million targets a game, there are still targets apparently available for Mike Williams. He is certainly improved from last season. Seems to be what they kind of wanted to draft, which is like a big body receiver that can get downfield. He's a great option.
He's seen a steady flow of targets: 8 in week 8, 7 in week 9, 5 in week 10, and 7 last week. So you're probably going to get somewhere from 5 to 8 targets, which is you're happy with at that price. Yeah,
exactly.
Is there anyone else, or is it just those 2?
No, I've got a few like cheaper wide receivers. Like I always feel there's like quite a few that I'm okay with.
Okay.
So I'll let one of you other guys jump
in.
Go on,
Liam. Who have you got?
One of my guys is Tim Patrick.
You banking on that?
I love Tim Patrick.
You banking on that 60 yards reception at the end of the game?
Well, I mean, mate, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? But no, I mean, he just seems to get double-digit points every week.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is really good. And as you can see from the target share, he's got 9 targets against Atlanta, 6 against Las Vegas, and 8 against Miami this past week. And he's just a good player. And he's a type of that guy. He's a big body guy, a bit like Pittman, who has that red zone threat as well. I know that price against New Orleans, and if Lamar is back, he's probably going to be on Judy, right? So you got a guy who's going to have cornerback 2 coverage and can easily go for a big play like Judy can. So it's just they're going to have to pass the ball a lot, and I think Patrick's going to benefit a lot of that basically this week.
Who's next, Liam? What else?
The only guy that I really stand out to at the moment is Denzel Mims, 3.5, I believe he is.
I looked at him. The price was interesting.
Yeah, he is. I will make it clear though that if Darnold is playing, then I'm probably off Mims.
Would you edge towards Crowder at 54?
Yeah, just because obviously Darnold loves Crowder, right?
Yeah.
But if Flacco's playing, which I think he probably will play, then Mims, if he's getting like 10 points and the target share that he has been getting the past few weeks, like 8 targets for each week, then for 3.5k against Miami, who Denver showed last week are not the finished article in terms of covering wide receivers. If you can get 10 points out of Mims, which is more than realistic, then I think it's quite a nice play. It's like a little budget option.
You expect Howard to be tracking Perriman?
Yeah, you like to think so. And
That's
then
right.
so you're looking at maybe Byron Jones, who he's been okay, but Howard's been the guy really. And
Yeah.
I think whoever's Howard is guarding, I would avoid completely because Howard's been absolutely locked down this season.
Yeah. Like it. Is there anyone else?
That's it for me.
Okay. I'll start at the cheapest for me. It's AJ Green.
Oh,
Hear me out. Literally hear me out. Okay, you've got a 28-year-old quarterback coming in, yeah, who has got very limited to no experience. Who is he going to throw the ball to? The most
whoever is closest to the line of scrimmage.
The most experienced wide receiver. I think AJ Green will see targets this week. I just think at 3,600. I think the price it's a real boom play. I'm not saying he's going to get 100 yards and a touchdown, but I think that his experience will help Brandon Allen. It is Allen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this week. 3,600. He kind of woke up last week, 9 targets, 4 receptions, and he finally got a touchdown. But yeah, he's someone that if I want to just take a real punt at, that I will chuck him in. And I can guarantee you his ownership will be basically nothing because of Allen at quarterback. The obvious one is Nelson Aguilar. We all know how good the Falcons' defense is. Passing defense is really, really good. Aguilar is the main wide receiver on that team, and he's someone that Philadelphia could really do with right now, couldn't they? Obviously, we can catch balls. That's really good. Yeah, exactly. He's 4,900 going up against the Falcons, playing at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. He can be a bit hit and miss, but when he hits, he really does hit. 9 targets last week, 6 receptions, 88 yards, 20 points, 13 points 3 weeks ago, and then he went for a stretch from week 4 to 7 with 14, 14, and 24. He's a real kind of. He's going to see targets. He'll see a couple of deep balls from Derek Carr, who throws a really nice deep ball. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. The Falcons are trash. He will burn us at least once. I've got a couple more, Rich, but you tell me one of yours.
I had Nelson Aguilar as one of them. The other one is Darius Slayton.
Okay.
4,900.
Yeah.
Cincinnati are not good.
Really?
Genuinely. They're just not that great. I'll put up this. I'm giving up, but Darius Slayton has been reasonably impressive in spells. I mean, he's a little bit boom bust, but I think the schedule now for the Giants opens up quite a bit down the stretch, which is why during the off-season I said don't get Daniel Jones in the first half of the season, pick him up towards the end. The Bengals are giving up 41.1 points to the wide receiver position. They just can't cover wide receivers, and I think Slayton is a great option. He's certainly got boom potential.
Yeah, and he's cheaper than Sterling Shepard, who's 5,100. Shepard's more going to be the possession receiver, isn't he? He sees a certain amount of targets, certain amount of receptions every single week. Darius Slayton's the big home run hitter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one more. It's going to sound similar to the last couple of weeks. I'm going back to the well again. Christian Kirk. If you're going to pay up for Kyler Murray, I think Christian Kirk's a nice kind of stack. He is very boom bust. He really is. 5,800. You're not sure whether you want to go for a boom bust, but last week 9 points. The week before that 6.7. But the 2 weeks before that 26 and 20. So you just got to kind of hope. I just think he's a really good wide receiver. This year, I wasn't really keen on him last year when he was the number one there, and then they brought Nuke in, and I've been impressed by Kirk this year. And the New England defense, as I said earlier, I don't think it's very good. Hopkins will get covered by, what's his name? Someone tell me. Yeah, we go, Stephen Gilmore. I think Christian Kirk can have a nice game. They use him, not the last couple of weeks, but they have used him in the rushing game as well for some kind of jet sweeps. So, yeah, if I've got Murray, I'm probably going to stack him with Christian Kirk. What do you boys think about Kirk?
Yeah, he's fine as a tournament play. I think he's a bit risky for cash.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm quite a big fan of JC Jackson. I think he leads the league for interceptions. So he'll probably be on Kirk. So, yeah, I think if a stack with Kyler in the tournament is what you're after, then yeah, I'd say that's perfectly fine. But I wouldn't touch him in cash personally.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Rich, anything there, or have you got anyone else, or do you want to move on to tight ends?
Let's move on to tight ends.
Let's go to tight ends. Liam, tight ends. Hit us up with
yeah, I've been considering Noah Fan just because of the matchup. He's 4,200 against New Orleans, who, as we all know, really aren't good against tight ends.
Unless your name's Hayden Hurst.
Oh God, yeah. Wow, that's just an anomaly. I couldn't believe that. It's just typical, isn't it? The theory of the past weeks of tight ends has been if they've been getting targets, then they're the kind of play you want in your lineups. And of course, Ingram and Hurst, the two that most of us have played, have just goose egged or not done anything.
Hit the bed, as you might say.
But I think Fan is decent play. He's without going off that same sort of theory, he is getting a decent target share from Locke or Ripien, depending on who you want to analyse it off it. But yeah, if you look to pay down a bit, I don't mind Fan as a play this week, but I do prefer paying up to like a Waller or even a Kelsey if you're feeling that brave.
Yeah. Rich, where you at, buddy?
I've got Trey Burton down. Yeah, I know you mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, I'm with you on Trey Burton.
Typically at tight end, if I'm paying down, then I'm paying down.
Way down.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Austin Hooper. The thing that worries me with that is just the matchup's good for Austin Hooper, but the volume that he could see is not. I'm not massively high on. But typically in this position, I'm just looking who has touchdown upside, and Trey Burton does have that.
Yeah. Same as me, man. I'm on Trey Burton. He was my guy. I just want to quickly go back to wide receivers and talk about the Pittsburgh wide receivers.
Okay. Specifically Deontay Johnson.
Yes. As always.
Maybe.
Always Deontay Johnson.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Deontay Johnson. The wide receiver one. A there.
He's priced that way as well now, which is nice.
He's gone up 300. They're getting there. They're working their way up. 16 targets last week, 11 the week before, 10 the week before that. Look, he only saw 3 targets against Baltimore, but he was hurt. He got injured early in the game. The Steelers are a passing team. They've forgotten they've got James Conner. Big Ben is just going to air the ball out wherever he wants, and the amount of targets he gets. Do you know what? 6,200 still doesn't scare me. The price on Deontay Johnson. Give him to me at 6,200. Any kind of you've got what? You've got Deontay Johnson 62, Chase Claypool at 61, and Juju at 59. Juju, I don't know about his injury. He's a full participant, so that's not to worry about. Do you kind of any thoughts on Claypool or Schuster this week? Do you prefer one over the other?
I'd prefer Claypool just because he's not coming into it with an injury.
Yeah.
But I'd prefer Johnson from all of them.
Oh yeah, Johnson is the one I'm playing out of that. Okay, that's cool. Just wanted to go back to them. I didn't want to forget them. Defense, Rich.
I'm just thinking New York Giants. I don't know. We need to start setting up a line. So they're 3,200. Feels like a little bit more expensive than a cheap option. But I always struggle with where we draw the line with cheap and expensive. But I
I kind of go. I don't know. It's interesting because I had the Browns. I had the Browns.
I feel like that 3,200 is like right borderline.
Middle
some
to
weeks
low.
some weeks it's expensive based on the rest of the guys there, and some weeks it seems cheaper. This week it kind of feels a bit cheaper to me.
If you think about it, 4,200 is most expensive, and 22,000 is the the cheapest. So you're looking around 31, 32. So yeah, I'll let you have it.
Yeah. So part of the reason why there'll be question marks over AJ Green, quarterback, is part of the reason why I'm going for this selection. The other part is that the New York Giants have been sneaky good. I mean, I think I tipped them a couple of weeks ago when they were playing Washington.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll show up, and I think this will be another week where they'll show up. They're one of these defenses that's actually really effective real life, and doesn't always translate to fantasy, but when it does, like you have a decent time of it.
Yeah, agreed. Liam?
Yeah, I mean, I've already said Biden in Cleveland, haven't I, really? Actually, it's kind of right on that borderline between, value and expensive. But, 20 points last week, play him again this week, and I'm sure you'll be happy with them in your lineups.
Yeah, okay. No, Browns are mine.
Back to the well.
Oh, don't do it.
They gave me 5 points last week.
I mean,
they didn't shit the bed. They did not shit the bed. 3 sacks, even though we can't sack it. I think it's literally if I'm gonna pay that, if I'm not gonna pay for anything and I can get 5 points, then I'll take the Falcons at 22. That's basically it. There's no other reasoning. I don't compare to the Jags against Cleveland, nah. Jets against Miami, nah. Broncos against New Orleans, no. Vikings against Carolina, nah. Just around that price range, I prefer the Falcons. That's just basically where I was at. That was it. At 2,200, if you really want to save up, then go for it. So yeah, is that done? Anyone else got another defense, or are we done?
Not from me, no.
Lovely. All right. Shall we go on to our stacks?
Yes.
Rich, stack me up.
I alluded to one of them earlier, Rivers and Pittman.
Yeah.
Another one is the obvious Herbert and Allen.
Yeah.
Slightly, it's quite a lot more expensive. And then finally, Carr and Waller, which should be no surprise either because of how we were talking earlier about how they're facing Atlanta and defense is optional.
I think you can add in Aguilar at 49, and that comes to 16.6. I don't mind that. Carr, Aguilar, and Waller triple stack there.
Yeah, I mean, all of these, I feel like you can triple stack. You could add Henry with Herbert and Allen, or Aguilar with Carr, or you could add Burton with Rivers.
You've got flexibility. What more do you need? Liam, what about you, mate?
So Richard said Kyle Waller. I'll go a bit different. I'll go with 2 running back and defense stats like I did last week. So I'll go Chubb/Hunt and the Cleveland Browns defense, depending on who you like out of Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah.
Personally, like both, but it's whoever you think is going to go a better game. And then I'll go Gallman and the Giants defense as well.
Cool. I like the Carr, Aguilar, and Waller one. I got another one. Cam Newton and Jacoby Myers. Myers was a mid to low price wide receiver that I forgot to talk about. He's 4,900. Oh no, sorry, he's 5,300. Cam's gonna have to throw the ball. Myers is his most dependable wide receiver. And stacking those two, and it comes to 11,700. If you really felt like it, you could chuck James White in, obviously, as an add-on at 4,500. But yeah, Newton and Myers for me. That's where I'm at. Plays of the week. I'm going to start because I don't want one of you boys to steal mine. My play of the week is Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
5,600. It's the price. He sees enough of the ball. for him to be able to blow 5,600 out of the water, the price range. So yeah, 5,600 Kareem Hunt against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Rich, what about you, buddy?
I had Kareem Hunt. I think I mentioned it during our cheap plays that I thought he was going to be a good ad. Okay, so I think I'll just go for my boy, Michael Pittman. Smash him in your lineup. 5,000. You kidding me?
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Smash it.
What about you, Liam?
Yeah, Derek Carr for 700. Easy value play if he gets 20 plus points, and going against Atlanta. So that's all you need to know, really.
Love it. Love it. Bust of the week. Who is going to fail compared to what they're priced at? Liam?
I'll go Alvin Kamara. Not getting any targets. Completely flopped last week in terms of people playing him. And if Taysom Hill's a quarterback, he's going to flop again.
What's his price?
82.
Okay.
Still high.
Yeah. Rich?
Derek Henry.
I thought you were about to say Derek Carr for a minute.
That was interesting.
What's Henry's price?
7,900. So right towards the upper end of the position. I mean, not counting McCaffrey, he's the third highest.
Yeah.
On the slate, and this Colts defense is pretty good. They held him to 103 yards, no touchdowns. Obviously, hardly one reception for 6 yards. He's not really used in the passing game at all.
No, he should be. He should be used in the passing game. That's just. I think
okay. If you want. It's just this Colts defense is a great unit, and I just think that he's not going to necessarily return value with where he's being priced.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. My bust of the week is Edwards-Helaire, 6,400, going up against Tampa Bay. This Tampa Bay defense is good. It didn't look great against the Rams, but I think that was more of a Sean McVay thing. And they didn't really get run on. So I think at 6,400, I think he's overpriced slightly. I don't think he's going to hit value. I don't know. I just think that Mahomes is just going to try and pass the ball all over him. So he is my bust of the week. Right, boys, shall we get on to the lineups for our little head-to-head contest for this week? I think we should. Yeah, I think we should. Let's start by quarterbacks. Let's go by position. Just kind of add a little bit of suspense to it all. Rich, start us with your quarterback that you're starting this week.
Going Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert.
Liam?
Derek Carr.
I'm going with Cam Newton.
Interesting.
Ooh, I like this. I like when we go for all different players.
Yeah. Running back 1, Rich.
Kareem Hunt.
Liam?
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I'm going Dalvin Cook as well. 9,500.
I feel like I've ballsed up my lineup already.
Running back 2, Rich. Who have you got your running back 2?
I didn't mention him when we were talking about cheap running backs, which was an error. Zach Moss.
Okay.
4,800. Get goal line work against Chargers. Chargers they're mid-table when it comes to defending the position. So
yeah. Cool. Liam, running back 2.
Wayne Goldman Jr.
Ooh, I like that. Do like that. I've gone with Kareem Hunt, 5,600 at Jacksonville was my running back 2. Wide receiver 1, Rich.
Allen. I went for the expensive stack.
Keenan Allen. Yeah. Okay.
Keenan Allen.
Liam?
Calvin Ridley.
Ooh. I took Ridley out of my lineup at the last minute
Okay.
My wide receiver 1 is Nelson Aguilar.
Wow.
4,900.
Wow.
That's your wide receiver 1.
You're
Well,
going cheap.
that's the first wide receiver I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. I
There we go. Rich, who's your wide receiver 2?
Pittman.
Like that. Liam?
Pittman.
Oh. I've gone Jacoby Myers. I'm stacking him with Cam Newton.
Fair enough.
Rich, your wide receiver 3.
Slayton.
Darius Slayton. Liam?
Denzel Mims.
Jesus Christ, you boys are going. I don't even want to know what your bloody flex is. I know your tight end's going to be bloody Waller, isn't it? Looking at these prices. My wide receiver 3 is Michael Thomas. 7,400. That's who I switched in for Ridley. I might regret that. Rich, tell me your tight end is Darren Waller.
That is correct.
Liam, tell me your tight end is Darren Waller.
That is also correct.
My tight end is Trey Burton. Rich, your flex is I'm gonna guess what position?
Running back.
Oh, it's Nick Chubb.
No. Unless DK have changed how the salary limit.
I don't know what your salary limit. I'm not adding yours up. Who's your flex?
Gorman.
Wait, Gorman.
Nice.
Liam, who's yours?
Curtis Samuel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is Naheem Hines. Your defense, Rich.
Browns.
Liam.
Browns.
Me, Browns.
Sweet.
So, Rich, just quickly run off your whole team for us.
Okay, so I've got Herbert, quarterback. Running backs are Kareem Hunt and Zach Moss. Wide receivers are Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman, and Darius Slayton. Tight end is Darren Waller. Flex is it Wayne Gorman? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Wayne Gorman.
And Cleveland Browns is my DST.
Liam, do the same, mate.
Yep. QB is Derek Carr. Running backs are Dalvin Cook and Wayne Goldman. Wide receivers, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman Jr., Denzel Mims. Tight end, Darren Waller. Flex, Curtis Samuel. Defense, Cleveland Browns.
And mine is Cam Newton, quarterback, Dalvin Cook and Kareem Hunt at running back, Michael Thomas, Jacoby Myers, and Nelson Aguilar at wide receiver, Trey Burton as my tight end, Naheem Hines as my flex, and the Cleveland Browns as my defense. Some good teams there, boys. Good lineups. I like it.
Yeah, going to be competitive this week, isn't it?
It will be. So, what, 70 points a pop?
Probably, yeah.
But just quickly, we didn't talk about the seasonal DFS this week because I think what I'm going to do is, starting next week, I will do a short little video just briefing, going back on what happened the week before. High scores, best team, where the overall standings and so what. So that'll be in a separate video for the seasonal DFS competition. But I just want to mention about how proud I am of Rich this past week. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. You smashed out the park this week, mate. What, you've 175 points?
Yeah, it could have been. I just said to you before, like, I'm just swinging for the fences now. I literally don't care if I finish last. I literally do not care. I just want to just try and have some fun with it. So
and you had 170. I think you were the third highest scoring this week. I think the highest was 186 by @SportingMinute on Twitter. And second place was 178 by, I think, @London Irish Blog, I believe. I didn't do very well for the third week running, which was great. Liam, you were...
Yeah, I had 133. I played Tua and Jacoby Myers and that, so it didn't go too great, but yeah.
No. But we got a new leader. At London Irish Blog, I believe. I'm looking at you guys like you should know, but you don't. So I'm just going to say,
I don't know off the top of my
I
head.
don't buy the DK usernames now. That's the thing, rather than the actual ads.
Yeah, I'm thinking of his Twitter username. It's weird. It's M Garvey something. Is his DK.
M Garvey 14. Yeah,
but Rich, you did move up four places, I believe, in the actual overall leaderboard. So you another week like that, mate, you're top 20. I bet you. Top 20.
Yeah, if you say so. I'm just gonna have fun with it. Like, I'm not really bothered if I finish last. I finish last.
This is a beauty, mate. You've smashed out of the park this week, and you're having fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter where you are, you're having fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
All right, boys. Thank you very much for joining me again this week. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American listeners and watchers on YouTube and podcast downloaders. Enjoy the Thanksgiving slate. There will be a small Thanksgiving slate podcast out shortly. I think me and Rich are going to do one now that the Steelers and the Baltimore game is off. That it could be a little bit shorter. Let's put it that way. Enjoy the games this Thursday and on Sunday, and I hope you guys do really well in everything bar the season-long DFS competition. Hope you suck. Remember, Rich, that was good luck. Last week I said that, and you did really well. So I'm just going to keep
I just don't really listen to you. It makes sense. I said don't really listen to you. So
Liv, just hearing a little. It's a bit crackly, Rich. Can't quite hear you, mate. All right, boys. I'll let you get to the rest of your evenings. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we will speak next Wednesday.
sounds good.
Lovely.
Then.
All right. Take care, boys.